Hi, Mum. You okay? You all right? I'm not putting anybody else on yet. I just want to say a quick hello. So you have to unmute yourself.
Ah, it's lovely to see you.
Thank you, my darling. I'm really sorry. I meant to phone you earlier on in the week and I got carried away with various other things. I'm so sorry. I meant to phone you earlier in the week.
That's all right. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I'm really sorry.
That's all right, love.
Are you around tomorrow? Or have you haven't got a workshop or anything tomorrow?
No, I'm in tomorrow. Well, I've got to do a bit of shopping, but apart from that, I'm in.
Okay, I'll give you a call. I'll give you a quick call tomorrow. All right.
All right, love. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Let the others in now.
All right.
So Jackie and Tanya are coming on now.
It's all going to be a shock this week.
Tanya! Can you hear me, Tanya? No, you can't hear me yet. Hi, Jackie. Can you all hear me? Hi.
Yeah. Sorry, I had pop-ups flashing up, and I'm trying to delete them all. And
oh, okay, that's all right. Nice to see you. So I think that's probably Mel. Yeah, there we go. Hi, Mel. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Carol Ann coming on. So we've got a couple of people who can't make it today, who I know about. So, hi, Carol Ann. Hi, Tanya. Can you hear me now? That's okay. That's okay. I love your pictures behind you. They're gorgeous. All your family photos. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. Right, we'll just give the others a couple of minutes. But while they're coming on, while we're giving them a chance to come on, did anybody guess the enhancements by any chance? Or were they a complete shock? So Catherine's coming in. So we're going to explore that a little bit more in a bit. But yeah. So a bit of a kind of a biggie this week. So, hi, Marsha. Hi, Catherine. There we go, as Catherine's come in. So, I don't know if we will see anybody else. Okay. Just give everyone a minute or so. Okay, so we're moving into our first. Hi, Marsha. So we're moving into our first proper Wildfit season. So everything so far, as Eric said this morning, everything so far has been leading you up to this moment in time. You are now, and look at Marsha's face. You are now entering or moving into, gently moving into your first proper season. And I have to say, for me, spring is the best season. I absolutely, absolutely love spring. I'm moving into it. Spring is here. Yay! Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. This season that we're moving into is the most exciting season, because this is where you're going to see some phenomenal changes. If you haven't seen changes yet, don't worry, this is the point at which your body will start to completely change. And we'll go into that in a little bit more detail later on in the call. So I'm very, very, very excited about this next period. My favorite, my favorite, my favorite. And I am doing this challenge with you, okay? So I gave up the alcohol and everything, and so I'm with you here on the challenge. So I'm really, really, really looking forward to going into spring. Yeah, loving it. I'm so looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. Okay, what I want to do is a quick review though over this last week, because this last week might have been a little bit of a toughie for some of you. Yeah? Okay, what I'd love to know is, what was your biggest challenge this last week? Anybody prepared to come on and everyone's like, What was your biggest challenge with the enhancements that you brought in on Monday? Anyone going to share? Nobody had any challenges at all. Mel, go ahead over.
Fags.
Bags! Go on then. What happened?
I haven't had one.
That's brilliant to start with.
There wasn't a choice, was there?
Always got a choice. Always have a choice.
Oh, hang on. I'm being joined by something hairy.
Yeah, you always have a choice. We are inviting you to do this. It's entirely your decision whether you do things or not. So we're inviting you to do it.
Yeah, I've not missed anything else. Nothing else has been difficult, but there's been lots of times when I've turned around and gone, need a cigarette, and there wasn't any. So yeah, I haven't had one. I mean, I can't say I haven't been climbing up the walls, but
Okay.
I have missed having them. But the caffeine symptoms were the worst.
Okay.
So I haven't missed the caffeine, but my body clearly has, because I felt shit. And I still feel shit, and I'm really bloated. I feel really heavy. I'm like, yeah, I feel really bleh. And I still feel really bleh. So
Okay. So as far as the caffeine is concerned, the detoxing of caffeine can take on some pretty horrible side effects, some of which I'm afraid you're experiencing at the moment. Just know absolutely that it will clear up.
yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, your body is just trying to get rid of the toxins it's been holding on to. And how long have you been consuming that many coffees a day?
Probably since I started this job, so about 6 years.
So it's got quite a bit of.
And probably worse since I've worked nights. So and I'm worse in the winter because I get cold, so I
Drink
drink
more.
it more. Yeah,
So,
it's just what you do in it. So yeah.
What's the challenge here for you then, with regards to coffee? What was the challenge over the week?
There wasn't a challenge. I just didn't drink it, but I just felt awful. So
okay. And did you have any conversation going on about having some to stop you from feeling horrible?
no.
Okay. So talk me through the fags then.
The first day is always okay. The second day is really like, don't know what to do with myself, and then the rest of the time you just kind of have to go and do something else and take your mind off it.
So what's the dialogue? Have you been noticing the dialogue that's been going on about it?
I really need a cigarette. No, you don't. Go and do something else. Okay, then. That's pretty much it, really. I've given up so many times before. It's not difficult to do. It's just the car was the worst. Not having a cigarette when I'm driving in the car, that was quite hard, because I always have a cigarette when I'm driving, and that's purely just boredom and frustration more than anything. I haven't been stuck in a traffic jam yet, so that would probably be more challenging. But if there's none in the car and you're stuck on the motorway, I'm not can't really give in and have one, can I? So it's fine, you know. It's just trying to find something else to do with yourself.
So the cigarettes were to fill in the gap when you're bored?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. So what else could you do instead, do you think?
I've cleaned the house today.
So our house looks fabulous.
Oh, the house is clean. Well, part of the house is clean. Yeah, and I'm knackered now and I've got work tonight. So it's fine. It's not a problem. It's just there was more thought. I haven't had a thought about anything else. Nothing else I've really thought, oh, I'm really missing that, or I really want that. It's just gone. But the cigarettes keep coming into my mind. And there's certain things, there must be certain routines of doing things when I then have a cigarette. So groomed a dog, normally go out for a cigarette after I've groomed the dog. Cleaned the house today, finished one room and I'm exhausted, I'm in pain. Go and have a cigarette. It just seems to be that associate. Drive, get in the car, light a cigarette. On nights, go for a wee, have a cigarette before I come back and take another call. It's just routine, isn't it? That you just get into those habits of doing things with associations of doing one thing with something else. So it's just breaking those and doing something else, or doing it in a different order. Or
so have you got some strategies in place, or some strategies in mind for how you can deal with those moments?
just ignore it. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Just ignore it. I know it's there, just ignore it. But I haven't got any. I'm a 25-minute drive to the nearest shop, so I can't just pop out and get some. And it's really cold and miserable and horrible here today, so I'm not going out of the house. So it's fine. And the crate, what are we on now? Day 4? Day 5?
Yeah.
So I would think by Sunday, though, it'll be gone.
Okay.
Be out of my system by then, I would think. As will hopefully the caffeine.
So the nicotine cravings may go, but is there another association that you need to deal with? Is there another link for the cigarettes that you need to deal with? Like, is it a reward, for example, like you said, for after grooming the dogs?
It's a relaxation, I think. It's
Okay.
that's done. So
that
yeah.
Deep breath, finished,
Yeah.
sorted.
Yeah.
So is there anything else? Is there something else that, well, we've been practicing that 5x5 breathing.
Yeah.
So would that help?
I did do that. That was fine. Yeah, that kind of helped.
Okay.
It's just about distractions. So it's the same as craving food and chocolate, isn't it? As long it's that instantaneous thing. And if you distract yourself and go and do something else, you forget about it and it's gone. So it's just.
And the more it's just like the sugar monster. So you've got a fag monster at the moment. You've got a smoky monster. And the more you resist it, the more times you say, not this time, not this time, not this time.
Not shouting at me though, really.
No?
No.
Good.
No, not really. It's not going, I need a cigarette. It's just a case of, oh, fancy a cigarette now. No, you don't. Oh, okay. So there's no, it's just popping into my mind that now would be a cigarette. And like I saw a box of something, it was a box, I can't remember what it was now. It was a small cigarette packet sized box of something on the table earlier on. I automatically thought, oh, fags. Oh no, they're not. So it's just that association, isn't it? It's just what it is.
Okay.
It's fine. I mean, everybody at work that's given up, they're all vaping, and I actually think that's probably worse for you than the cigarettes. So, and every time I've tried that twice, and it was just disgusting. I just couldn't even get my head around that. That just seemed pointless. So,
Even with vaping, they're doing the same thing. It's that deep breath. It's that.
yeah. But
So,
it also tastes disgusting, and you're still getting the nicotine, aren't you? So that kind of don't quite see how that helps. really.
If those cravings are getting less and less and less as you go on, absolutely brilliant. That's what we're after.
Yeah.
And hopefully the fact that you were in a better position nutrition wise, the side effects of not having it anymore has been minimized. So
I'm not coughing as much.
Fabulous.
Definitely not coughing as much, so that's good.
Okay, any other NSVs this week? So
no, they've all been pretty negative this week. I feel really fat and bloated and tired,
that's the caffeine
really
side of things.
horrible. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So,
Okay,
but definitely not coughing as much. So
that's good. That's perfect.
yeah.
Perfect.
So
Yay.
next week has its own challenges.
We will come on to those in a minute.
So, anyway, I'm going to hand back to someone else now because I'm sure someone else wants to
That's
say.
fabulous. Well done, Mel. Well done. The fags is really difficult to give up, so that's absolutely brilliant. You're doing an awesome job. Awesome job. Okay, did anyone else have any challenges last week? Any situations or anything that they found they had a little bit of a struggle or a little bit of an argument? Mum?
I had a friend over, and my friend and Karen had a sherry with some fresh orange, cut from a fresh orange in it, with some ice cubes, and it smelled absolutely gorgeous. And but I didn't have one.
Well done.
But I wanted one. And I thought, well, why do I want one? Because I've not had anything like that all week. And so what's the reason? And I realized it's the social bit. It's the interaction with, because I just went and got a cup of water and actually was quite satisfied with it. But they sat with their sherry and I sat with my hot water. But I have to say I did want one.
Mm-hmm.
I did fancy one. But whether it's a victory or not, I don't know, because I did still fancy one.
Well, it's still a victory. The fact that you were able, that you decided not to have one is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Not long ago, you would have had it without thinking about it.
Oh, I would, yeah, I would.
And it doesn't mean in the future you can't decide to have one. It's just at the moment we're asking you to take a break.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's definitely the social side, because you know they were having one and they were very happy about having one, and you know, and I wanted to join in that happiness, if you know what I mean.
did you feel like you were missing out?
I felt left out. Yes.
Left out or missing out?
Missing out, because they didn't leave me out. I got my hot water and was still interacting. But yes, it was. I was missing out on something. Yeah.
It's it's a natural reaction, because when we were hunting and gathering and all the rest of it, if we had a kill, or any food, if you didn't have the desire to have what everybody else was having, and you didn't feed yourself properly, you were the one that was left behind.
Yeah.
You were the one that didn't make it through winter. You were the one that didn't make it. So our desire to have what's available, especially if other people are consuming it, is absolutely natural. So the desire should be there to keep us alive. The fact that you decided not to have it is awesome.
Well,
So brilliant.
Yeah.
So how did your food, or how did your angel convince you not to have it?
Well, I asked myself, do I really need it? Do I need to have it? And I wanted to stick to the program, so that was part of it as well. I have had another blip though, which the devil did get in the way.
Okay.
And that was, I went to see a show yesterday, and we got back really quite late, and I didn't want to cook, and we finished up having some fish and chips. Now, the actual thought of having the fish and chips was wonderful, and the fish was beautiful, and I had a couple of chips, and I thought actually it wasn't that nice. The chips weren't that nice, so I did have a few. But I thought afterwards, I really wish I hadn't had those, because they didn't do anything for me really. And afterwards I felt really yucky and sluggish, and but I took some of the coating off the fish and had the fish. But I did succumb to a few chips, but I realized afterwards that really they weren't that great. The flavor, they weren't that great, no.
So the thought was there.
Oh yeah, the thought was, I don't want to go home and cook. Let's have some fish and chips. And asked some of the people that we were with, is there a good chippy in Wellington? And they said, yes, there's a really good chippy in Wellington. So I said, right, I'm going to have a piece of fish. And the fish was beautiful. It was worth it for the fish. But the rest of it I didn't need.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. But yeah, for that moment, I just sort of threw caution to the wind, really.
So which of your hungers do you think that was? Out of the 6?
Empty stomach hunger.
Really? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because I was hungry and I didn't want to. Well, I felt hungry.
Yeah.
And I hadn't had my Alka-Geyser, which I have every day, sometimes twice a day. And it was a day where just everything went wrong, and I hadn't had my Alka-Geyser, which normally I never feel really hungry. So I hadn't had that, and I'd taken a sort of a salady packed lunch and to the theatre, and so I hadn't really eaten very much to satisfy my nutritional needs, I think. And so I went for the fish and chips because it was easy.
Do you think it was nutrition or just empty stomach?
Well, really, my nutrition's really high because I have my Alka-Geyser every day. So maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it was just the fact that I couldn't be bothered to cook and it was easy.
So you've got some food devil here.
Yeah,
So
food devil telling me it's easy. Let's go and have some fish and chips.
Yeah, and helping him along is the empty stomach.
Yes,
You should let yourself get a bit hungry.
Yeah.
And Eric said this quite a few times in his video so far, and I'm going to reiterate it because it's a really good thing to have in mind. When you're hungry, your rules get a little bit more flexible, shall we say?
Yeah. That's what it was, Jane. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Because usually I'm pretty good at sticking to healthy food, and but I sort of thought, well, okay, I've had it. I'll probably suffer for it.
But you had great observations for start off, so because you realized that you were looking forward to it and you felt good the thought of having it, that they didn't taste as great when you'd had them, so you were noticing that the fact that the chips didn't taste as good.
The fish was good,
right? So what would you, in hindsight, because hindsight's 20/20 vision, what would you do if you were reliving that moment again? What would you do?
I think it's all to do with being organised food-wise.
If you're in the same, I meant if you're in the same position that you, for whatever reason, you can't eat, you're hungry, you come out of the theatre, what other decision could you have made, or what other choice could you have made? Having run that experiment, what would you do in the same situation? What would you do differently?
I wouldn't have the chips.
Just have the fish.
I just have the fish and because the fish was beautiful. Yeah. It was a really lovely piece of cod. Yeah. Yeah, and I love
And
fish. So, yeah.
And quite often it's that fish and chips go together. You can't say I'm
Yeah.
going out to the chip shop for a fish. It's I'm
No.
going for fish and chips, because that's how they go together. So yeah, breaking that little connection next time and have your fish.
Yeah, yeah.
If you really, really, really want a chip, pinch someone else's. They always taste better off someone else's. Well, absolutely brilliant observation, and yeah, fabulous. So, okay, thank you for that, Mum.
Okay, you're welcome.
Yeah. Catherine, you put your hand up earlier on. Challenges from last week?
Yeah,
Or from this
week, exhausted, really, really tired.
Okay. You're very quiet.
Oh, hello. Shall I get a bit closer? Is that any better?
It's a little better. Is it quiet for everybody else as well? Yeah.
I don't know. I'm on full volume there.
Okay.
Don't know where the
We can hear you.
I don't know where the microphone is. I'll just get as close as I can.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
I've just been really tired. 2 nights this week I've been in bed at 8:30 and slept all the way through till 6. And a couple of nights not much later than that, 9:30, 10 o'clock. So, and I feel kind of all over achy. So I don't know if that's the lack of caffeine or I don't know really. That's your job. You've got to tell me now why I'm so exhausted.
Well, what do you think it is? What do you think it might be?
Well, I don't know whether the caffeine is kind of giving you that artificial energy that makes you keep going for longer. But is it normal to go to bed at 8:30 if you haven't had any caffeine?
You've been having caffeine for a little while, haven't you?
Yeah. Ever. Apart from when I was pregnant, weirdly, I couldn't drink tea or coffee when I was pregnant.
Do you know why that? Do you know why that was?
Presumably because my body knew it wasn't good for me.
And it was shouting loud and clear to you.
Yeah, very much so.
Shouting loud and clear.
And I haven't drank tea since I was pregnant with my first daughter because of that. But I forced myself back onto coffee. How weird's that? I know. Weird. Yeah, and I do love it, and I did miss it. No, I didn't. I thought I would miss it, but I haven't missed it, and I haven't really craved it at all. So,
well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And yes, the symptoms you're going through, the speed bumps that we talked about at the beginning of the week when the enhancements came in last Friday, those kind of speed bumps, feeling tired, feeling lethargic, those are all signs of the toxins being metabolized by your body and being excreted or being discharged from your body. The thing is that your body will get rid of it in whatever form it possibly can. So sometimes it's tiredness, sometimes it's using all the energy to get rid of the toxins. Other times it might be that your bowel movements change. It could be that you start to get a little bit of a skin rash. All of these things are absolutely, absolutely natural. Your body's trying to squeeze the toxins out of your body in whatever form it possibly can. Just trust me, any of these symptoms that you are struggling with at the moment will go. They absolutely will go. You are so close now to being the cleanest you've ever been, in inverted commas, internally.
Yeah.
Okay, which is so exciting. So exciting. And then your body is really, really, really going to get the signals that everything is absolutely fine and you can heal. And you can your body can just take all of that energy that it's been using to protect you and to keep you alive. It can turn all that energy internally and deal with things that it's just not been able to do before. So this is just, yeah. So it's fine. I'm super excited the fact that you're tired. I'm super excited the fact that you're feeling shit.
Okay. I quite like going to bed early. It's quite nice.
But it's fab. And are you sleeping well? Are you sleeping better when you go to bed?
Oh, I've never slept so well. It's like just absolutely out for the count and don't
Perfect.
wake up till about 6 o'clock.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Sleep is so important. During that time when you're asleep, your body is doing the most amazing things. You are completely unaware of it, but your body is repairing, it's metabolizing, it's organizing your memories from the day, it's reorganizing cells, it's growing new cells, it's doing the most amazing things. It's so important to get good sleep. So I absolutely celebrate the fact that you feel shit, you go to bed at 8:30, and it's amazing.
My hair feels good.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks, my hair feels really soft and silky. And normally, it's curly and frizzy usually, but it's not, doesn't feel dry at all, which it often does.
Fabulous.
If that's a thing. But
Yeah, it is. Yeah, your hair definitely. Look at Marsha. Go girl.
Yeah, go girl.
Yeah, your hair can change. Some people find that their hair gets softer. Some people find that there can be a period where you lose a little bit of hair and new hair comes through, because what your body's doing is getting rid of the old stuff and it's bringing new stuff in, so you can end up with a whole new mane. Oh, fabulous.
Used to be growing quickly as well.
Awesome. So they're great NSVs. Yay. Brilliant. So good work. So anybody else had any challenges or any NSVs that they want to talk about from last week? No, everybody been okay? All right, okay. So moving on to this week then. How many of you, give me a thumbs up if you guessed and you got it right, what the changes were. Give me a thumbs down if it was a complete shock and you've no idea it was coming. What have we got? We got Mel with a thumb up, Carol Ann with a thumb up. Yeah. Tanya, it was a shock for you, my darling, was it? Oh. But for everybody else, I think they pretty much guessed it. Okay. So the taking away the last little bit of sugar. We're not saying that fruit or root vegetables, that natural sugars are bad for you. Not at all. What we're talking about is moving into the season of spring. And I want you to imagine, or I want you to think about the actual natural season of spring, because it does correlate here. It doesn't correlate elsewhere in the world, but we're actually quite fortunate that where we live, it correlates quite nicely. So in spring, you have all your new growth of vegetables and plants and things coming through. So they're new, they haven't had a chance to kind of season off yet. So they're still quite fresh, they're still quite bitter. And then there's lots of young animals around, because there's plenty of water, there's new sun, there's nice sun, there's plenty of heat coming through now, and all the animals decide that they're going to have babies at the same time, because there's an abundance of water, fresh water, and abundance of new vegetables coming through, new vegetation coming through. So you've come out of winter where there's nothing or very little, and all of a sudden spring appears and it unlocks everything. Everything starts to live. Life, the whole planet comes to life. So when we were hunter-gatherers, it meant that we had an abundance of these bitter greens and an abundance of protein, of fish, of eggs, of animal protein, because there's lots of young around. So if you think about that, that's what we're talking about when we're talking about eating Wildfit spring. So we're talking about bitter greens, we're talking about meats, fish, and nuts, seeds, things like that. Okay, so good dietary fats and plenty of protein and plenty of bitter greens. And it's the bitter greens that people struggle with the most. And I want you to try and have a slightly different view of them. We used to eat over 200 different plants. 200 different plants. How many different vegetables were you eating at the start of the program? Do you think? In the course of a week? 4 from Mel, 5 from Jackie. On average, normally you go shopping, 3 or 4 from Marcia, 5 from Caroline, 5 from Tanya, 10 from Catherine. Vegetarian, a little bit more adventurous with your vegetables. Okay, so, but nowhere near 200. Nowhere near 200. So whilst we've moved into spring and we're asking you to take a break or take a holiday from certain vegetables, there is still a massive, massive amount of vegetables that you can choose from that have all the qualities that we want to signal your body that spring is here. So it's now a time to think, okay, what can I try that is new? What have I never tried before? What spices can, like Mel has been doing over the last few weeks, trying new spices to get new flavors, new herbs to get new flavors, new combinations. So this season is a really, really good season to start maybe experimenting a little bit, maybe having some real fun with trying different. Marcia tried dulse. Oh, I've not heard of that. I'll come to you in a second. You can explain that one. So spring is a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous season. And I want you to remember the analogy that I spoke about a few weeks ago when we talked about carrying a rucksack on your back going across the desert. So you're on your journey across the desert, and in your rucksack, which is your body, in your rucksack, you've got water, you've got food and energy, which is the fat and things that you're carrying around with you. And you're moving across the desert. There's no food, no water. So you're holding on to everything that you possibly can. You're eking out what you have in your rucksack. And then you come to the oasis. And the oasis has an abundance of fresh water, an abundance of food, of fresh food, of protein, of great stuff to eat. And the first thing you do is you dump your rucksack of old, warm, fusty, moldy stuff that you've been carrying around for months. That's exactly what your body's going to do during spring. It is going to dump anything and everything that it doesn't need. But in order to do that, we need to give it clear signals that winter's over. Because we've been preparing for winter for decades. With the food, the processed foods that we eat, with what's available to us in the supermarkets, the signals we've been giving our bodies for decades, and possibly even before that, through our parents and our grandparents, we've been signaling our bodies genetically that winter's coming. So we've been holding on to everything. So we're going to move you into spring. Now, this is an artificial spring. There's no way that in reality, you would go into a spring where you don't have any fruit, you don't have any root vegetables or anything like that. But we're doing this for a short period because we are giving our bodies clear signals that spring is here. Does that make sense to everybody? So this is only a short period of time, but I'm going to ask you to adhere to what we're doing. And this may take some willpower, and it will take a little bit of effort. Okay? And there will be times when we're going to be talking about being bored with foods. And there's going to be times when we're thinking it's a pain in the ass to do this. And I'm going out for a meal and I want to be able to have a dessert. And I want to have my glass of wine with something. I want a dessert. I haven't had a dessert for weeks. Okay? And we're going to have those conversations over the next few weeks. And that's okay. That's what this play here is all about. So I'm going to ask you to look at the food guidelines, check out the list on there. That's not exhaustive. We keep updating them and updating them and updating them. And I know that there's a little bit of a problem with the fact that Monge 2 and sugar snap peas or something's on a couple of times, things like that. Accepting that there are a few typos on those, and we are aware of them, and they are getting revamped again and again and again. If what you're eating, the caveat, the rule of thumb is, if what you're eating tastes sweet, then you're sending your body signals that winter's coming. Does that make sense? So for some people, Mel, the list is on Canvas, and it'll be under week, yeah, it'll be under today's. It'll be on today's in Canvas, where if it's not on today, it will be on tomorrow under overview of week 6. Okay, I'll go and check after this call. I'll go and check to make sure it's on there. Caroline?
Mel, if you look, you know, when you click on for Eric's video, then underneath it, there used to be like bonus information. Underneath that, you can click on, which is on the Wildfit site. So once you've got your email and you click the video, you don't have to play the video again, but underneath that, it's got the Wildfit. So I actually, today as I was shopping, I actually have printed it off and I've highlighted stuff that I can buy and I can't buy. So that, because I couldn't keep looking at the screen and doing my shopping list at the same time. So I had to print it off, so you can get it from there.
I looked for that this morning and I couldn't find it.
No, well, it's if you have to click on the video as if you're going to watch it again, but don't watch it again, and scroll down and it's just underneath.
Oh, okay.
Not in the actual email. If you click watch video again.
When you get the thing where it's got all the list of all the weeks with all the different videos on it, where you have to click on them, underneath that is where the FAQs and stuff is, and I thought you meant down there.
It's not on that bit. No, it's on the email for the video that we watched this morning. If you click on it again to watch video, but you don't have to watch it again, and it comes up underneath that, it gives you the one. It gives
I didn't go far enough.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Sorry for interrupting.
No, not at all, Caroline. Thank you for that. I'd actually forgotten that it was with the video as well. I'd actually forgotten that. So thank you for reminding me. No, that's brilliant. So yes, so take a look at that list of vegetables. For some people, certain vegetables will be more bitter than others. So you might have sugar snap peas, for example, Catherine, and they still taste quite bitter to you at the moment. But as your taste buds change, there will come a time when sugar snap peas will taste like they sound, sugary. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing when you start to taste properly taste the food that you're going to eat. When I was going through the program, I remember we came to the end of the program and I had my first banana after the program finished. And I was sat with my husband, Barry, and we had a banana. We were in the car, had a banana. I took one bite out and went, oh my God, this is the most amazing taste I've ever had. And it was the most banana-y banana I'd ever tasted in my life. It was incredible. I could taste every aspect of the banana. And I hadn't appreciated how little of the banana I'd actually tasted before. So this is going to be really, really exciting because you're going to see changes in the way that food tastes to you. Everything tastes to you because you're going to get your taste buds back, right? So the rule of thumb is that if it tastes sweet to you, you're probably sending signals to your body that there is a little bit of sugar, and your body will continue to stay in sugar burning mode. And what we're looking for in spring is to move from sugar burning to fat burning. So we have these sources of energy. We've actually got 3 sources of energy, but 2 main ones, sugar and fat. And for the majority of us, we've spent the majority of our life sugar burning. We've never gone into proper fat burning, unless you've done a keto diet. Has anyone done keto? The keto diet before? So Mel has, Marsha has. So sometimes when you do a keto diet, you can go into fat burning during the course of that. But for the majority of people, they never get to experience what it's like to go into fat burning. And when you move into fat burning, you'll find that your energy changes because you're going from hot, fast burning sugar into slow energy release. So your energy literally is, there's an abundance. Sugar wise, you're holding about 4,500 calories in energy, in immediate glycogen and glucose energy supply. In fat, you're holding more like 250,000 calories. So there's a significant amount of energy available to you. You can go just, it's like Marsha won't understand this one, but it's like the, what's the bunny called? Someone help me with the battery. Ever ready, is it? Duracell, thank you. It's like the Duracell bunny. You just keep going. Okay, so that's what we're aiming for, is we're aiming to get into fat burning, and then that triggers that your body can start healing. Okay, so are you excited about moving into spring, or are you a little bit nervous about it? Catherine's excited. Everybody else is going, okay. So come on, talk to me. Somebody talk to me about how they're feeling about this next week. Marsha, you know it works. You know it works. Yes, you do. Go on. Talk to me. Switch your microphone off. Talk to me, girl.
Well, I didn't experience like a super flush of weight loss the last time I was successful at doing spring. And I was, I guess, just doing a whole lot more of detox than I really realized that I needed, because it had been a while since I had been eating clean. And overall, I lost quite a lot of weight when it was all said and done, but it just didn't seem to like flush off like I was feeling from what Eric said. It's just gonna drop off. And I was like, okay, my new body's just gonna show up tomorrow. And that didn't happen. So, you know, I think you have to moderate your expectations. It's not going to be a miracle. It'll feel like one that you're actually losing weight, which you do, and very effectively. And all along, you know, it's been just slow, drip, 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 drip. So if the pace of that improves, now I realize that that's what it'll be. But I'm really looking forward to like the energy boost, because like I can hardly keep my eyes open right now. And I ate some lunch earlier, and I don't know what I ate. Something made me sleepy. And so I have to go check what it was, if there was any sugar in it that I didn't know about, because that's how I feel, like a sugar crash right now.
Okay.
But yeah, so my expectations, I just have to, you know, keep a grip on them.
Okay, I'm just gonna come back to this. Mel's asked how much you released last time when you did the challenge.
25 pounds US. So that was
so you
4.5 stone.
No, 25 pounds.
25 pounds.
Yeah,
Isn't it 7 pounds or 6 pounds per stone?
14 pounds to a stone.
14. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
So just
Okay,
under 2 stone.
2.5 stone.
Just under 2 stone for your, but that was your first challenge. That was when you did it with me. Okay.
Yeah.
And were you under any stress at the time? Not going into details, but were you under stress at the time?
Yeah, I had been trying to lose weight unsuccessfully for about 1.5 years, and just really stressed out about it with the diet mentality. That's how I started the challenge. I was like, this is going to work. And we got to the first week and Eric said, keep eating your shit. I'm sorry, but I was like, are you kidding me? I want a diet. Tell me what to eat. And that didn't happen. So I was really on the struggle bus for a long time. And I still, I did everything he said to do, and I was losing weight slowly, slowly, slowly. But I had this thing in my mind, I'm on a diet. This is going to be the one for the rest of my life, and it's going to work, and it blah, 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 blah. And of course, at home, there was a partner who wasn't super supportive, bringing in pizzas and snacks and all kinds of things that I was constantly tempted with, and social occasions and all of that. And I just didn't manage it very well, to be honest. And now I can, I'm much more focused. I'm much more relaxed. I'm doing the breathing. I'm really like super, super keeping with it. So I just have a completely different mindset about it. And I realized, this is going to be forever. And the changes that I made on the observation and the dialogue and everything, so different from the first time I did it. I was like really resistant to it. And I was like, who cares what the dialogue is? Just tell me what to eat and I can do it. And I realized, I just wasn't taking personal responsibility. I was just like, okay, give me the formula and I can follow it until I can't. And then I'm screwed. And so this is building my own muscles to actually be responsible and make it work for a long time.
Mm. And even with all of that,
Mm-hmm.
you released 25 pounds.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So now that you're in the right place and the right frame of mind and you're relaxed about it and you're chilled about it,
We'll see.
I'm going to have a little bet with you that you have your flush.
Well, I'll go for that.
Because I think your body's just ready to let it all go now. And I don't think it was then. I think your body was in protect mode then. And I think
Well, my body was in a protection mode. It knew something was going on in my life that I intellectually didn't know. And for those of you who don't know, I just was separated from my husband in September, like really unexpectedly over a period of like a couple of days that I finally decided, hey, that's what's going on here. So, yeah, there was a lot of stress, but I wasn't really aware. My body knew, but my mind didn't know. And so that's why it was so hard.
Mm-hmm. So I'm so pleased that you're still here. And I'm so pleased that you're doing it again. And I'm so pleased that you're in a completely different place.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited to see the changes that are going to happen this time around for you. Because I know the changes that happened last time, and they were great.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the resistance and the stress and everything else, your body still managed to release. So yeah, and your foot healed, and your skin was better, and you slept better, and your hair was better. All of those things changed.
Yeah,
and you weren't at your optimum.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you are now. So
yeah,
I
think it's going to be brilliant. But I just. And I love this community. We're just sharing so many recipes and so many like breakthroughs and challenges. And I get on all the time. I might not write, but I look at everything every day. And it's just really great. I love it. And I want to thank everybody because, it's a support that I really need to stay focused and
fabulous. So brilliant. Keep going.
Just do it. Oh, that stuff, it's called dulse.
Ah, okay.
And it's a seaweed kind of thing. And it has an umami kind of taste. And it's a salt substitute. And it has very high iodine. And it's super lot of nutrients and stuff. And you just shake it on your food. And there's also the kelp granules. So there are two. I just found them at Walmart. And I thought, oh, I'll try that. So there you go.
Very nice. Very nice.
So it adds kind of a Chinese food taste to your vegetables. It's good.
Fabulous. Fabulous there. Thank you for sharing, Marsha. So, Mum?
Oh, I just wanted to share with everybody. Oh, and by the way, Marsha, you look fabulous. Yeah, you look so fresh. Yeah, yeah. When I went, I have done this program before, and I'm at the weight really that I want to be, but I want it to come on again. A, because it keeps me focused, and B, because it's such a lovely group anyway. It's just nice to chat and listen to everybody's stories. But I wanted to lose 2 stone, and because I'm only 5 foot, so I'm not very tall.
Half an
And
inch.
so, and half an inch. Sorry, I forgot the half an inch. Yeah, and so the size I was I felt very heavy and sluggish and horrible. So I wanted to lose the 2 stone, which I did last year, and I'm still at the same. So I'm still at the weight that I wanted to achieve by just living Wildfit. And I'm not saying that I haven't had the odd little thing that I brought back in, just occasionally, because I've decided that I will have it, and not because it's saying to me you've got to have it. And yes, I'm 8 stone. I'm 8 stone 9, and I'm very happy with 8 stone 9, and I've managed to stay that since. When did we finish? Was it last September? October.
Yeah.
So yeah. So all over Christmas and New Year and parties and birthdays and thank you, Marsha, and things like that. It's I found it actually quite easy to do, to actually keep on the Wildfit track. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's what we're aiming for. We're aiming for people to be able to. I've just seen Mel's comment. My left leg is about 8 stone 9. It's the idea of Wildfit is that when you start living, it takes time and practice. Okay. As we're going through the 90-day challenge, you're going to get the tools, and you're going to go through the experience, and you're going to see how things change, and then you get to make the decision at the end of the challenge how you want to move forward with it. But the idea is the more you practice, the easier it is. So then when things that aren't supportive of you are put in front of you, and someone says, there you go, there's a bit of cake, I've made it for you out of the goodness of my own heart, I've spent hours and hours producing it for you, and I've made it specially for you, you can say, do you know what, it looks fantastic, and I'm so grateful for you spending that time, but I just don't eat cake. And you'll be able to do it without any upset. You just don't eat it. You just don't want it anymore. And you'll feel the same, but it will take practice. It will take practice to get into that place where it's effortless. It's more second nature. Think about any foods that you don't like. How easy is it to turn it down? If I was to ask you if you want liver and onions, for example, or especially Catherine, there you go. There's the. So if I was to say I'd made you the most fabulous liver and onions, and I've spent hours, Catherine, hours making it, and it's the most delicious thing. You've never tried it. You really should try it. And Catherine, what are you going to say?
Thank you for spending so much time making a beautiful dinner for me, but I don't eat that. I don't eat cake either, so
there you go. There you go. So this is the thing. So you know how easy that was for you, Catherine, because you're vegetarian, you wouldn't even think about eating it. It wouldn't form part of your thought process. So the more you practice with these things, the more it becomes second nature like that. So yeah. So this is your training ground. This is your training ground.
I've been vegetarian since I was about 14, and I don't even look at meat and food with animal products in it and think, oh, I really fancy that. It's just not on my radar at all. So to do it with the other stuff that is not good for me as well, I'm having those same conversations in my head. Like, I'll look at a pizza and think, yeah, but if that was covered in meat, you wouldn't want it. So why would you want it, now?
Perfect.
Yeah, so that's helping me.
Very
Even
good.
things, like going past the chip shop earlier and thinking to myself, oh, it's, could well be cooked in animal fat anyway, so I wouldn't eat that. Yeah, it's definitely getting easier, definitely.
Good stuff. Well done, Catherine. Well done. Okay, so moving on to our next week then, we are taking a break from fruit. How many of you got like a ton of fruit to eat over the course of the weekend? A little bit, Caroline. I did try to give you a little bit of a gentle hint at the beginning of the week.
Because I've had my family staying with me and they've actually moved out this week. I'd bought loads of fruit. So this was actually bought at before you'd said that. So
right,
it's fine. I've got enough now for just 2 days and that's it. So I won't start till Monday because I don't want to throw the fruit away. So
no, you can, a lot of the fruit you can prepare, cut up and put in the freezer. So don't feel that you have to gorge yourself on fruit if you don't want to.
No, but because I'm now on my own again, I need to batch cook. So my freezer is going to be full of things that I'm going to have to batch cook. So, which leads me to one question. Does this mean the meatballs are out because they've got carrots in?
No, just take the carrots out.
Okay, so we can just
don't put carrots in.
Okay.
Put something else in instead.
Sorry, can I ask another question while I'm on?
Yeah.
When the list it says to eat in moderation and it has tomatoes on, I love tomatoes. So how moderate is moderation?
Okay, to begin with, right, we're trying to move you from sugar burning into fat burning. Yeah, that's the aim of spring. For some people, it's easier than others. So what I would suggest is that you go with what you feel is a moderate level for you. And then if you don't feel like, if you're adhering to it and you don't feel like that switch is moving, then you might want to look at taking a break from the middle foods for a little while. Okay. Because the middle foods, what's called the middle foods, they are slightly sweeter. They have a little bit more carbohydrate in them. So if your switch is really sticky and if we're struggling, and that's not week 1, okay, so this week have tomatoes and enjoy them. Don't have tomatoes with every meal, but have tomatoes in what you consider moderation. And then if we are struggling with flipping that switch, those are the kind of things that we might want to tweak to really, really clarify the signals we're sending your body.
Yeah. Okay.
But your body might turn around and go, oh, okay, spring's coming. Yeah, spring's coming. Winter's over. Off we go with tomatoes. So you may not have a problem.
Okay.
So
I'm eating a lot of. If I've got to eat a lot of salads over the next few weeks, I could quite like tomatoes with them.
That's fine. It is fine.
Okay.
It's only if we start to get to a point where we're really struggling with getting that switch flipped, then we might have to just drill down so we really get clear signals.
Okay.
Right. Thanks. But it's not something that you have to do straight away if you don't want to. I mean, if you want to cut them out, that's fine. If you want to go deep spring and no middle foods at all, then that's absolutely fine. But it's not imperative at this stage.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
Yeah. So it's not imperative at this stage.
Okay. Thanks.
Has anybody else we're at time. In fact, we're a minute over. But if anybody has any quick questions, let me know. Catherine?
Yeah, I was just going to say, we need to switch to the Alkagizer Prime as well this week.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering, what I can put in there other than celery and cucumber.
Anything.
Just
Any of those vegetables.
Anything green.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. The Alka-Geyser mild, the same as the Alka-Geyser prime, the same as with the Alka-Geyser mild. It's just a base recipe. You can tweak it with whatever you want. It's just to give people an idea. I quite often use completely different ingredients. In fact, I make Alka-Geysers that don't have a single ingredient that's on that list. I use a whole different list. It's the Alka-Geyser is purely a green smoothie to get your nutrients in, nothing more. There's no magic formula of if you have 2 celery sticks and a bunch of spinach, that's going to trigger everything. It's just getting your nutrition levels up. Okay, so whatever you fancy, whatever's in your fridge, whatever takes you, whatever floats your boat that day, give it a try.
My fridge is full of green right now.
Yay! Green's the new black. Definitely. Has anybody else got any questions that they would like answering before we go into the buffer zone? Breakfast. Apologies, Mel. Okay. On Canvas, there are lots and lots and lots of breakfast recipes for using. There's eggs and eggless ones. You've got. There's nothing wrong with having a salad for breakfast. You don't have to.
I tried that egg stuff and I just can't do egg. It just makes me feel really nauseous. So I need to do something that's got egg in it.
Okay. Right. Let me ask you what you think breakfast should consist of.
Well, since we started this, it's been my bowl of fruit.
Okay. And that was because we were doing it on empty stomach. But we've been conditioned. What was breakfast when you were a kid, when you were growing up?
I never ate breakfast.
You don't like breakfast?
I never ate breakfast when I was a kid that I remember.
Okay. All breakfast is breaking fast. Catherine's put cereal or toast. We've been conditioned that we're supposed to have cereals and toast, or we're supposed to have, like porridge or something like that, or we might have a cooked breakfast. And a cooked breakfast in the UK is your sausage, bacon, eggs, etc. If you want to have a curry for breakfast, have a curry for breakfast.
Yeah, I would more likely to have leftover pizza or leftover whatever than.
Then that's all we're talking about is breaking fast. What you choose to have for your breakfast is entirely up to you. If you've made a dinner the night before and you've got leftovers, have them for breakfast. There's nothing specific that you have to have. It's just we've created this genre, or rather the food marketing industry has created this genre of foods that you're supposed to have at breakfast and you're supposed to have at lunch.
Can I just ask, how many times a day do people eat?
As many.
And how much food should we be eating? Because I had my fruit for breakfast this morning and I had a bowl of soup and a leg of chicken for lunch, and I can't face dinner. I'm still full. Okay.
There's only one rule in Wildfit. You must not go hungry. And the reason you must not go hungry is because when you're hungry, as Mum attests to, when you go hungry, your rules around food are much more relaxed, much more flexible. So the only rule is you must not let yourself get hungry. But if you're not hungry, don't eat.
I don't think I have. I've lost the ability to recognize when I'm hungry. Okay. So I think I've spent so many years ignoring it.
Yeah.
That I don't really recognize when I'm hungry until I'm absolutely starving. And then normally when I'm out somewhere, so I end up grabbing anything I can, which is generally not very helpful because it's just trying to buy food when you're out, like a petrol station or anywhere. It's just that's even remotely healthy is just impossible. So then I end up buying something I really don't want purely because there's nothing else.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's just planning. But my normal is eat something first thing and then ignore it for the rest of the day, and then 24 hours later eat something again, by which time I'm probably absolutely starving. So it's just but every time I've done a diet, and I can even remember you telling me this many, many years ago, you're not losing weight because you're not eating enough. And I don't want to get into that situation again.
No, absolutely not. This is not about counting calories. This is about listening to your body. If you're struggling at the moment with the signals from your body, then may I suggest, or I would suggest, and what I do regularly, is I have 2 or 3 alkalizers during the course of the day, and then I'll have 1 meal in an evening. If I'm busy, if I'm playing golf, for example, I will take a litre of alkalizer with me, and I will drink that on the golf course. And then when we come off the golf course, we have a drink on the terrace, and I come home and I have an evening meal. So, because we don't stop for lunch, there's no lunch in the middle. I don't want breakfast before I go out. I'm like you, I don't really enjoy breakfast, to be honest. So I do alkalizer. I just have alkalizer, that gives me all my nutrition. And then I have an evening meal in the evening with my protein. But
and that's enough, that's fine.
Yeah, it's absolutely fine. If you think about it, before we had kitchens, before we had shops, before we had anything like that, we would go out foraging and we would eat as we found things. So you wouldn't stop at 8 o'clock to have breakfast. You wouldn't stop at 12 o'clock to have lunch. You wouldn't have tea at 6 o'clock. If you were walking, and bearing in mind that we used to be nomads, if we were walking and we found a bush, an edible bush with berries on, everyone would stop and eat them. And then you'd keep walking until you found the next source of food. So there is no such thing as a good time to eat. There's no such thing as needing to have 3 meals a day. There's everything about having your nutrition and having enough nutrition. But this thing about the times it's just a way that we've been conditioned, partly because we work. We go to work. So if you don't have something in the morning,
I'm a grazer naturally, so I would just have a handful of something every couple of hours. That would be my natural.
Then that's perfect.
Doing
absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. The only thing that I would suggest for you, because of your needing to almost be in anticipation of those signals of being hungry, is I would make sure you have at least 2 alkalizers and a litre of alkalizer a day.
Okay.
Other than that,
blood sugar is my main concern this week.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to have a separate conversation about that later, but
yes, we can.
Is that okay? Because because the honey is still going to need to be there at some point.
Oh no, have the honey available. If you need your honey, if you need honey because you're having a bit of a crash, absolutely, that's far more important. Far more important. Okay. So yeah, but we'll have a separate conversation on that if you like.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, right. We have run over a little bit. I do apologize. Have a great week ahead of you. This is really exciting. So exciting to see what happens over the course of the weekend. How much fruit you eat, Caroline, to get rid of it all and all that kind of stuff. And then how we attack Monday. So this for me is the most exciting season. It really, really, really is. So I'm so looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. Right. Thank you all for coming on the call. Have a great weekend. Have a great evening, a great weekend. Unmute yourself and say bye to everybody.
Bye.
Everybody.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Bye.
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 Take care. Have a great weekend.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.